Going to be a relatively basic cruiser. We're going to be using orange blocks for most of it. I'm not too concerned about weight or mass. I know you can change where the bot is in the bay by using the arrow keys and stuff, but I'm just doing it this way. So let's build the central core. We want to at least 3 wide on the front section. I'm going to make it 5 wide on the rear section. That's a stability thing, and yeah, we'll start with that as a basic plan. And then movement, so we want tier 4 wheels. I'm going to have non-steering wheels in the middle. There is a reason for using non-steering wheels. I need to actually buy some of these. I want 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. And redundancy is also a key. So non-steering wheels like that, and then we'll have steering wheels front and back. So something like this. Yeah, that'll work. And the reason for this is ideally the pilot seat is going to be right in the middle here. And if you lose like the front wheels, you still got the back wheels to steer by. If you lose the back wheels, you still got the front wheels to steer by. But you need a solid axle for that to actually work. If these were all steering wheels as well, then you'd kind of screw up your maneuvering. So that's why I'm using this particular plan. Now let's actually put a pilot seat on here, which is going to be placed there. We're going to need to add a little bit extra stuff on the front for shielding. I'm not worrying too much about doing any kind of triforcing. And sorry about that noise in the background, that's my neighbours. Damn, that's actually pretty obnoxious. Yeah, I've got no idea what the fuck they're doing, but anyway, language. Yes. Not going to worry about electroplates on this either. Let's just build a rough shield. We probably actually don't really want this all the way down because it limits the clearance, but we'll start like this anyway. It's kind of a big design. And now let's add some more armor onto the front. We also need to look at where we're going to have the gun placement. Not sure if I'm going to use rails or whatever else on here, but yeah, I'm just doing solid armor mass. But we might actually sculpt out some of this and add in some thrusters. Because T4 thrusters, you can actually fit a lot of those in here. I mean, if I had a couple at the front there, that would work, and I could make some space in here and add some T4 thrusters down there as well. And that just gives a little bit more additional speed. So yeah, we'll probably stick with that on the design. And then sculpt in some armoring to go over those. This design definitely is not planned, so don't really know how it's going to end up yet. Can't put blocks over there, it has to be prisms to look over that. But yeah, can't over the top, so let's invert those. There we go. So now that's covered. Actually, I'm going to go and buy a bunch of the curved blocks and do this all with curved blocks. Buy 100 of each should be enough. That's better. And I'll use the normal ones on the standard slopes on other parts, but yeah, we'll try seeing what we can do with the curved blocks on this. So yeah, we're going to have a gun mount here of some type. Let's not do SMGs. Other stuff is pretty normal. Yeah, maybe I will try rails on this. So that's actually going to be a little bit too close together. So the front set of rails need to be about here. That works a little better. Okay, we'll see if we can make this work. We want to probably build out a little bit of a platform on the front then for the complete front rail. Using inners there to curve that around. Yeah, that can fit on like that. No, I don't like that. That's... There we go. Something like that. That looks pretty neat to start with. Yep. Probably want to see, can we use any kind of other block type to go in that space? Let's try. Yep, that adds a little bit more structural reinforcement. Yeah, okay. I'm not particularly saying this is going to be accessible for lower tiers, because it's pretty hefty for a tier 4. Let's see if we can get these other guns on here first before we start messing around with anything else. So we want to have the rail there. Let's move that one back a block. And then we're going to need to have 2 rails coming off the sides around about here. I need to go and buy another one. Rail, rail, rail. Interesting collision issues. Works now. And that brings us up to the cusp of tier 4. And we can lose some mass by doing some optimization here if we absolutely have to, because there's a lot of additional blocks inside that we don't technically need. But let's just make sure the guns actually have solid hard points. And yeah, not doing any attention to triforcing on this at the moment. It's not really absolutely required. Okay, so we've now brought it up to tier 5. We need to knock it back down to tier 4. I mean, we can do that using some lower tier blocks if we need to, but I'm just going to mess around with some of this stuff first, so we take those blocks off. That needs to be a curved block. These definitely need to be armoured better. So at least make sure we get all the hard points in place before we start doing any real optimization work. Don't know how I want to mount that up. We'll leave that like that for now. Is that right? No, it's not right. It needs to be a connection point underneath for that to be right. Pull that block off temporarily. And now we can mount one of those and then take that block off, put these thrusters back in. And yeah, we're still over tiered, so what can we do to mitigate some of that? Or over tier. Just pull those blocks off. I'm not sure what we're doing here yet, but okay, so we can't put standard blocks in, but let's at least, yeah, I can put prisms in. Now, still too much. Changing these out won't do anything but other than mess. Alright, let's pull that block off, this block off, and we can lose that one. Actually, leave that in place. No, we can't lose that one. We can lose those, so spacing. We can't lose, actually we probably could. And that actually brings us down, so now we've just got a 6-gun rail tank. It's 658 CPU, which is pretty hefty. But let's go to practice, see how it works. Rail cruiser, not tank. Alright, for a start, let's go and try this one out. Very basic build, not Triforced or anything like that. Or no real attempts at doing those kinds of things. Is there anything I can do to cut down some of the mess? Yes, there's a lot I can do. Need to make sure clone mode is on. And I'm just going to build a framework around underneath here using white blocks, because all of these are going to get replaced essentially. Except those ones up there are not going to get replaced. what we're going to do is, that one's not being changed, that needs to stay as it is. We're going to use this. And the reason for this is because mass does matter in terms of gain speed. It reduces your overall armor a little bit by doing this, but I'd rather have the acceleration, to be honest. Let's change that. Need to use some inners there. There we go. It's got a pretty interesting look overall. It's a few bits like this where it's not quite right. Although on the bottom we can convert that. Let's put those in temporarily. There's a couple more of these. There we go, it's a little bit smoother looking. No, I need to buy some more. And these I'm gonna... That's just so that I can actually place that block. There we go. Alright, let's try this in actual battle then. Battle mode. Actually, classic mode to start with, and then we'll go for battle mode.